For 25 years, Brightview Senior Living Associates have been committed to creating a vibrant culture and delivering exceptional services, making Brightview a great place to work and live. If you're looking for a rewarding opportunity to serve your local community and grow, we want you to join our team. Brightview Senior Living is growing and actively seeking vibrant associates to join our community teams, including directors, healthcare, activities, hospitality, and dining. Apply today at careers.brightviewseniorliving.com. Equal employment opportunities. Text BV Jobs to 97211 to apply.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's up, babes?
And as the puck drops, the words that DC fans have been waiting to hear since 1974, the Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. It's not a dream. It's not a desert mirage. It's Lord Stanley, and he is coming to Washington.
Welcome back to Japers Radio. I'm your host, Greg Young, and today I am joined by the triumphant Adam Stringham. Triumphant because Adam was at the game where Ovechkin, of course, set the NHL goals record. So, Adam, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's we're recording this on Tuesday, so still riding that high a little bit. Watched a lot of Instagram reels, a lot of that stuff of different views of the goal. A lot of those like nice little stuff that NHL Network and those other sites have put out, and it's been good. I'm still really enjoying it, and was very fortunate that my dad and I got to be there together and experience that great moment when Ovechkin broke the record.
Of course. Yeah, I feel. Have you had a chance to watch the 2+ hour clip of all of the goals that Alex Ovechkin has scored that the Washington Capitals released on YouTube?
I have not watched that one yet. I've not had time to sit down and do that yet. Most of the, but that one's on the list. We'll see. See how much time I get during the week.
Yeah, I know I've watched, there's a YouTube of all of the Capitals goals that were scored during the 17-18 playoff run. And if you want a really enjoyable, I think 26 minutes, man, that's something. So, but Adam, you were at the game. So walk me through it a little bit. So what, how were you kind of making the decision about when to go and when not to? And kind of how was the crowd going into it?
So as our listeners might remember, you asked me if Ovechkin was going to break it this year.
Yes,
the last time
and
I
you
was
said no. Confidently
no.
I said and then
no.
all he did since then was score, I think, 6 goals in 5 games, right? So,
Yeah. So I said no, but I in the same breath said that we had tickets for the games in Pittsburgh, or for the game in Pittsburgh. So
remember.
After that, I bought a flight up for the Saturday before that game, which would have been the game. I wouldn't have made it to Columbus. I was actually just going to go to the home game on Sunday against Columbus again.
Yes.
And then he scored, I think, against the Bruins. Then I said, okay, well, now I feel like I've got to fly up earlier. So then I scheduled a flight to fly up on Thursday to be up for the home game against Carolina.
Yes.
And then he scored 2 against Chicago to tie the record. And then at that point, it was late. So it was probably would have been too late for me, to be 100% honest. I think I was going to be out of luck. But my dad had actually gone and had already bought a ticket and told me that he had 2. So when he had 2 tickets, very fortunate. My dad and I have gone to, hundreds of these games together. I mean, we've had every game growing up. When I was in high school, we were there together. 2007, 2008 was our first year. So when he said he had 2 tickets, I went on and I just booked. There was a flight that worked out perfectly, so I flew up from Houston to LaGuardia. I was out the door at like 8:45 a.m. Houston time.
Yeah, you were texting me like you were barely gonna make the game, so I was captivated by that too.
Yeah, it was a little tight, but it ended up being it was the worst flight of my life. Like we were bouncing around all over the place, but because of that, we got there 30 minutes faster. So the wind, I guess. So I
got a bit of a tailwind.
Yeah. So like, and the Islanders arena, great. I'd never been to UBS Arena before. Yeah. They had a great place set up for me to check. Like I literally was able to just check my suitcase and everything. So, and by that time I was already sure there were going to be a lot of Capitals fans. There was a Caps fan at the airport, not on my flight or anything, but there was someone sitting with a Caps jersey, probably waiting for their ride to the game. And just walking up to the arena, I mean, I was like, oh man, it's like 50% Caps fans here, and I think you kind of it's probably about right. It was probably about 50% Capitals.
Yeah, I heard speculated it was as much as 75%, but 50% sounds right,
Yeah, but I will tell you there was 100% Ovechkin fans there, and I think that was the kind of special thing for me going in. I'd watched that ESPN documentary they did about like Ovechkin. What was that, 2 years ago?
The Eras Tour one or whatever.
That was like Wyshynski's article he just put out.
Oh, right? You're right. Yeah, because they had a separate thing on Ovechkin. You're right. Yes.
But this is from a few years ago. This is from like right after he had gone ahead of Howe.
Okay.
And it was really good. It was really nice, and it really got me like feeling it. Like I was like the emotions were high, and just seeing all the Caps fans there. I mean, it was just really special. And I mean, and even the Islanders fans, they were very gracious. They all wanted to see the record. They all wanted to see Ovechkin succeed. I mean, who doesn't want to be there and witness history? And I'm sure the Islanders owners were very happy about the chance.
Take that extra ticket revenue,
No, it's not even that, Greg. This is like a Capital One arena. Like the average price for a warm-up puck's what you think, like $55 or something?
Sure, fair enough. Yes.
Guess what the Islanders were charged? And remember, these are warm-up pucks that they start selling after warm-up, so not after he scored a goal. What do you think the price was for those tickets?
Like $150 or something?
$375.
Jesus Christ!
For a warm-up puck that he may or may not have.
Who's buying it? But you know what? People, I'm sure, bought it because I mean, of course you want to,
Rick, there was a line. To get the pucks.
No.
I got into the arena an hour and a half before puck drop, and every single one of the warm-up puck sales booths had a line of people.
Jesus Christ.
People just queued up to buy the puck. I mean,
buy a puck that might have touched Alex Ovechkin once, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, incredible stuff. Like, totally, and then when they broke the record, the Islanders then put like a QR code on, and you can order a ticket, a physical ticket, for your seat, $50.
Hey man.
but that used to be free. You used to just get that for going to the game.
Yeah, because that was how tickets worked, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the Islanders were very happy. They made a bunch of money on this thing. I will tell you, beautiful arena, great fan base. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's a kind of experience, and I don't want to say I was like looking forward to having the traveling around, but I was kind of like, I was like, oh, this could be like a trip for the ages. And it still ended up being a trip for the ages, but Ovi just couldn't be stopped, man. He was by far the best Capitals player on the day. He had that deflection try in early, right? He had the deflection chance in the first couple minutes of the game. It was watching everybody next to me. I mean, every time Ovechkin got on the ice, I'd say probably 2/3 of the people around me had their phones out, like we're just videotaping him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and you could hear the crowd get loud every time he touched the ice. It'd be like, you hear people just going,
"Oh, buzz."
Oh, I mean, people just. I mean, it was really special.
So freaking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I'd been there to watch him tie it against Chicago, because watching that on TV, like the emotion and the nonstop buzz. I mean,
I was sure he was going to break it in the last minute.
Those last minute and a half. That's probably the best minute and a half I've seen him play in years. I mean, that shot that hit the shoulder, that was
of night. He didn't see it. That was like an instinct. It happened to hit him kind of safe, I
mean, but Ovi's just finding he's playing great hockey right now.
He's been incredible.
he's putting the team on his back. I mean, as I said on the last show, I looked like an idiot, and he proved me wrong. I mean, he used to struggle to get over the hump on these records. I mean, even he took a long time to get from he was stuck on 797 for like 4 games.
Yep.
And then he scored a hat trick.
Oh, the horror! Yeah, 4 games he was stuck.
Well,
but it shows. I mean, it does show for him it's a long time. It shows how consistently great he's been, because it's like, I mean, that's like a normal slump or not even a slump for people, but like it's just he's what he does is like kind of warp our expectations around like how you would expect someone to score goals,
I feel like you want to have another fun one for our listeners is, if you want to have a really good time, go back to 07-08, and I think Ovechkin went like that's the year he had 65 goals, and I think he went 6+ games without one right at the end of February heading into March, and then he had a hat trick against the Bruins to get him to 50 that season at home. And that was like, and he still scored 65 goals that year. And he was like, I mean, but that was when he was literally like, in my mind, by far and away the best player in the world. And I still think that's the best individual season ever. Like in my mind.
He was so dominant that year. Like in a sense of like, every time he had the puck, it felt like something good was going to happen. Even if it didn't, and it was like, if something good didn't happen, it was like a confluence of like bad luck and like, other teams playing out of their mind, that was, I mean, that was just an unbelievable, like, individual effort season for a pretty bad team.
Well, I mean, I think the team had a good foundation to move forward, but I think you just made a great point there. And that's what it felt like on Sunday. The buzz every time he touched the puck, that brought me back to watching him.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so I would have been like 17 years old then, like 8, like that's my junior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just watching him then, I mean, I had never been more captivated watching an athlete before than watching Ovechkin. I mean, I mean, I'm not the fan I am today without him. And watching how back then he could create his own space with his speed. He could move dynamically with the puck. His off the puck movement was still fantastic. I mean, he scored so many great rush goals that year.
Yes.
Either created by his own or a nice play with Victor Kozlov, and that's Backstrom's rookie season, and when he was with Backstrom later in the year. I mean, just the way the dynamic, like that dynamic of bated breath, that anticipation to see the extraordinary. And I think that is how it felt to me on Sundays, that even with the Capitals being as terrible as they were for much of the first period, it still felt like every time Ovechkin was on the ice, there was a chance that he was going to do. And I'm sure it was like that for everybody on Friday too against Chicago. And that feeling is something that I don't think you don't realize, like, when he wasn't playing, when he had that like rough, like the Dale Hunter year, you didn't have that same thing. Like watching him when he is at his best is a feeling like no other.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's keep going through your timeline here. So Ovechkin scores. What did you think of the goal itself and kind of just the immediate reaction after? So, like, I mean, obviously, both kind of a typical goal for Ovechkin and not, I guess you would say, right? I mean, or these days, like, I mean, it's on the power play in the left circle, but a little off the rush, right? So I don't know, kind of what was that, kind of your immediate reaction upon seeing the actual goal go in?
So we had seats pretty similar to our season tickets in at Capital One. So we were on the side with the benches, like kind of in the corner. So on the side where he was shooting. And you could see pretty well. I was thinking this in real time. It was interesting to me how idle Ovechkin was, like, during the build-up on that rush, right? Mm-hmm. So he had kind of circled back. When you watch the commentary from the national broadcast, they say something about, like, he's probably pissed he had to skate back and all this stuff. And then he just kind of disappears against the bench. Yeah. And like the Islanders really looked like they lost track of him. And that was which is crazy to me, right? It's the greatest goal.
The one guy, right?
But at the same time, like, he's not moving.
No.
He's literally standing. Like, if you watch, NHL has those really cool dot things now, like the
Yeah.
dot movement.
Yeah, the visualization dots.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and you see like number 8 doesn't move at all for about like
Nope.
6-7 seconds.
Yeah,
And
he did just enough to get out of the zone to make the play onside, and that was kind of it.
But like I think that worked. Like he faded out of the play. He's blending it, and then he kind of just reminded me a lot of what Mike Green kind of used to do, where just Mike Green would sneak down from the corner. And when you watch the replay, you see Ovechkin, and this is that goal scoring instinct. I mean, this is again like the magic we were just talking about.
Yeah.
He knows at the exact right time what to start skating. He skates full speed, gets into the right spot, and then he's just golden. He's just set. He's good to go. Tom Wilson with probably one of his better passes, right? Like
gorgeous assist. Yeah, cross seam pass, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know it in the same way that the tying goal on Friday to me, and I'm sitting at home, obviously, and a little selfishly was like, oh, darn it, he's gonna score this one.
Yeah.
The second that puck got to him, I went, oh, this is it. Like this felt like it was gonna be it. It was a clear cut chance, and he ripped it. It was a great shot, and the rest is history.
Yes.
I mean, the crowd went ballistic. It's a moment that's going to be ingrained in my brain for the rest of my life. So really a special moment.
So, I mean, and I guess at that point, the crowd, and you said it was 100% Ovechkin, right? So, you knew right away it had gone in, and the crowd, I guess, was all on board 100%.
I didn't hear a single person upset that the Islanders gave him a goal.
Who cares?
Remember, the Islanders were already up 2-0 at that point too. So
and they're out of playoff contention, realistically. I think everyone kind of gets that now, So it's I mean, in a way, it's cool because I mean, the part that to me that was like, I don't want to say strange, but just like I think kind of captured the gravity of the moment is just like how everything seemed to stop after that. You know what I mean? I'm not used to that because I mean, you see big goals, you see milestone goals, and I mean, it's like cool, and they'll do like a little thing in between, maybe in the period or something, but like how the game just kind of stopped after that. So I don't know, kind of what was your reaction with the ceremony? Kind of what was that like being there and seeing all kind of the pageantry that was there, kind of as after Ovechkin scored?
So I'd seen that they were going to do something. I thought they had said it was going to be limited to like
7 minutes, and I counted. I think it was like 25 minutes or something.
Yeah, it went
but
well beyond.
I was laughing like there's no way it was going to be 7 minutes. I think that kind of everyone understood that,
No, I mean it was going to take 5 minutes just for Gretzky and those guys to get down
the
box.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean it was. Look, I mean, never is a individual moment gonna be more worthy of a seizing of gameplay than that, I mean,
yes.
Someone gonna break Gretzky's points record? Like, I certainly don't think so. I mean,
not in our lifetime, I don't think.
No. I mean, like the rules are probably gonna have to change like dramatically for something like that to ever happen. I mean, I think it's more likely that Matthews will break this goal record than it is that someone's gonna break that points record. So this is the kind of, to me, this is like the ultimate individual award. I mean, it's or the individual record. It's something that's, the NHL has made this the center point of their marketing or for the league, I'd say, for the last like 3-4 months probably.
Yeah, I would say really a lot of the season, and I guess especially after he came back from the broken leg and things were like picking back up and it was looking like this might happen. It felt like everything was kind of oriented around that in a way. That it was like the climax to the regular season, I guess you would say.
I was actually getting a little worried from a league perspective I thought that the chase would lose its luster if he didn't get it this year after.
Yeah, I had the same thought, it was like, because then you're like, okay, I mean, I guess the whole offseason build up, but it would feel like at that point it would almost get exhausting,
Yeah. And I almost was wondering about Thursday, this upcoming game against Carolina, like how much the Capitals, like they said they're going to do something, but I wonder how much they're going to do, because it seems like Ovechkin's kind of ready for it to be over. Like it seems like he's a little like I think he's emotionally tired.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, and there was the reporting that he declined the Tonight Show because he wanted to focus on the team. And I mean, because look, they're a legitimate potential Stanley Cup contender. I get it from his standpoint. Plus I think there is just a degree of exhaustion because I mean, this has been something that has been building up, and you could see each presser afterwards how many people are just going to Ovechkin. The number keeps getting bigger and bigger the closer it gets.
Oh yeah, I mean it's got to be a lot, and before we get too off topic, I do want to say the thing I was most impressed by in kind of the ceremony and everything was like all those guys, all those players, they genuinely seem to love Ovechkin.
Yeah.
And not to it's hard to believe that right before the 2017-18 Cup winning season, there were articles in the Washington Post, talking about how Alex Ovechkin's a failed leader and he needs to be gone, or he needs to be stripped of the captaincy.
Yeah.
And 2014, there's articles about how it would be a blessing for the Capitals if he goes back to Russia.
Yep.
I mean, and that one wasn't from the Post, obviously that was the Hockey News. But this is a guy that has, was the face of the league, a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Was basically a pariah for 4 to 5 seasons, considered the problem. Why his team can't get over the hump.
Oh my God. It's so stupid looking back at it now, but it was a huge thing.
It was stupid then.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. It sounds especially stupid now, but it was stupid back then. I mean, they were one of the better regular season teams, and you know what? I think we couldn't get over the fact that maybe they got either a little unlucky or maybe they just ran into some great teams in the playoffs, and that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Ovechkin didn't have a bad playoff series, or an atrocious playoff series until last year.
Yeah.
I mean, so but not to get too off topic, but my point is that when they talk about a guy not having leadership capabilities, they talk about a guy. It implies that there's a guy that he's not loved by his teammates, that he can't lead them. And I'll tell you what, watching all those videos, those are Dylan Strom's crying, talking about, literally crying, talking about Ovechkin, how much it means to him.
Yes.
To be there when Ovechkin breaks the record.
100%. You can see Wilson literally taken aback that he was the one that had that assist. I mean, this Wilson's a guy that literally grew up around Ovechkin,
Yeah, I mean, but it just all kind of comes back to, and maybe it's different if they don't win the cup. Maybe his teammates don't feel the same way about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think winning the cup was a huge deal. I think it was, although maybe I would say it was also just a bigger deal from a national media standpoint, but because it got everyone just think, freaking God, it got everyone off his back a little bit, Yeah,
and we don't know. We don't know how the players in the room felt about Ovechkin. We don't know if they thought that he wasn't leading them the right way. I mean,
no.
I know we've heard in the past that there were certain Canadian players that didn't like that Ovechkin used to sit on the bench, during TV timeouts, weird stuff like that. But what actually matters is the guys that are there today view him as a fantastic leader. And a guy that they could not be happier to see succeed. And I think that's another part that stood out to me was none of it felt forced. None of it felt fake. None of it. And that, that's rare. That's rare to see. People in general are kind of selfish. And to see people that happy for their friend, for their leader, for their captain, for a legend of the game.
Yes.
Was really cool. And I felt like Gretzky was that way too. Gretzky was super, super, the stuff he was saying was all great. It felt like the stuff he talked about with his father and Bobby, how when he passed Bobby Orr and Bobby Orr was with him, and was so gracious when Gretzky passed the record, and his father told him to be that way whenever someone broke his records.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is not one of those, it's kind of one of those my sport moments, but that is kind of unique.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's just really amazing. And
what did you think of Ovechkin's speech? Because I wasn't even sure if he was going to say anything, and actually I thought surprising. It was very funny, but also very cute and endearing in a way. I don't know. It was really a cool moment.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Ovechkin, when he's really talking, he's a good listen. He's a good guy to
absolutely
see what he says. And I thought he did great. I thought the stuff he said was really good. I thought it was really great that he called out Backstrom and Oshie, guys not. And I think saw online the only 2 posts Ovechkin had made after breaking the record were both about Nicholas Backstrom.
Yes, it's very, very cute. Yeah. And he was like, they were almost in tears at the end after the game. It's just like, and that was the only part that's a little bit bittersweet, right? Is that it's not Backstrom on the assist,
Yeah, I mean, and it did seem like Ovechkin did seem like upset. I know like there have been talk like Semin wanted to come over and watch this stretch run, and I wondered if maybe he wasn't here because of what he talked about relative to visa issues, and because Ovechkin did say some stuff about people not being able to come as friends because of visas, and that was the other part that I felt kind of bad for him about, because like
sure.
It sucks that that's weighing on. I mean, obviously, like, we can say whatever we want about the politics. Like, obviously, like, Russia's the
we're just
bad
gonna
guy,
skip that for now.
Yeah,
I don't care. We're Caps fans. We get to just enjoy this. I'm not gonna worry about the politics. I just don't care.
I'm just meant from a personal perspective. I feel bad that in his greatest individual achievement, like some of the people he wanted to be there couldn't be there.
That was a bummer.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So, but it was. I mean, look, man, it was like it was just nice to see like that genuine emotion from those guys. I mean, it was the most emotion I've probably seen from them since they won the Stanley Cup. And from some of the individual players, like it was more emotion than they had when winning the Cup, I felt like. So, it was.
I mean, this is something like, in a way, like I think the one, I mean, because I know at one point we had a debate about like which would rather see Ovechkin break this record or them winning another cup. And I think the one argument that I think I do find persuasive a little bit is, we have a new cup winner every year. Right. But this is only going to happen maybe once in our lifetime. Maybe, I mean, I guess I was 3 when Gretzky would have passed, something like that. But, I mean, like, this is we may never see this in our lifetime again, and so there is just something to the gravity of that is really like, I don't know, it just feels like there's something bigger at play here,
I mean, I remember that exact conversation we had on here. I mean, it was, it was. And I was like, I think I was pro scoring record. So
you made it. Well, to give people behind the scenes, I think actually you guys were kind of secretly both let's win another cup, but we needed, for the sake of a debate, to have one of you, and I think you were the good soldier that took the pro scoring record side.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the fact. The other amazing thing is that he did it all for the Caps. And I think, assuming that next year is his last year, it sounds like he's going back to the KHL.
I think so.
Or he wants to finish there. I mean, we're going to have had the greatest goal scorer in the history of hockey to only play
for one team, for our team.
And I mean, how it's just it's unheard of. Right?
Yes.
In any other sport, I mean, even in hockey, it's basically unheard of. I mean, you have, Gretzky played for multiple teams, Messier played for multiple teams, Jagr played for almost every team. You have, I mean, Lemieux played for one, I guess, and then you have, that's kind of the big one, I guess. So, like the big guy who only played for one, and then I mean, frankly, it's Crosby. Crosby's only played for one team as well. So I mean. It's just really exceptional.
Yeah.
And it's a credit to Ted Leonsis. His 13-year deal to Ovechkin was that was I think announced during the 2007-2008 season.
Yes, that's correct.
I remember like they had a little event for it. That was pretty cool. I mean, it was kind of not thought of as like an amazing deal. And Greg Wyshynski talked about in his article about the Ovechkin Eras tour, as you were saying earlier. And I mean, what forward thinking that was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they also did like the Fish, like the Don Fishman and those guys in the Capitals front office. Like that was a smart contract.
Absolutely.
And then his current deal isn't even that bad. I mean, we're talking about like.
I mean, look, he's like fourth in the NHL in goals this year. I mean, say what you will about, driving 5, whatever, who cares? He's like fourth in the NHL in goals at 39 years old. Like, stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a beast. I mean, he's a machine. Just, next year is going to be tough, and I'm gonna wish I was home, like in Maryland, to go to every home game. And I know I'm going to go to as many as I can. Like I'll fly up when I can. Like I know I'll be there for the last home game and stuff like that. But like it's weird. Like after he scored, I went, oh, like this show's coming to an end. Like we're
yeah.
So that part like was a little
bittersweet in a way.
I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it that day. I wasn't, and I was thinking about it a little bit yesterday and then more this morning. I'm like, man, like this show isn't going to go on forever. And every time we have John, like how many times has John been on the show? John Press, JP, telling us enjoy the moment, enjoy watching this guy, and
there's never going to be another like him.
No, and even if there is another like him, he almost certainly won't play for the Capitals.
No, probably not. I mean, we watched a true generational talent in every sense of the word. We watched him as he grew up and became, came in and was instantly one of the most dominant forces in the NHL, and then be able to change his game as he grew to, I mean, obviously Oates playing a key role in terms of, being putting him, on his natural wing, and then, making the changes to the 1-3-1 on the power play that kind of unlocked, Ovechkin's the office and everything like that. I don't know. It's just the evolution that we've seen for a guy that came into the league and I think was criticized in a lot of ways that he wasn't evolving, but just seeing that as he grew and developed his career, I don't know. It's just there's just something incredible to all of the different permutations that we've seen, and the fact that like in the end he's 39 and is still scoring goals, and it's unbelievable like what we've been able to see here.
Yeah, I mean the Capitals were. I mean we talked about it in the last podcast. The power play has been garbage up until like 5 games ago.
Yeah.
So he scored on his goals on the power play, and his breaking goal was on the power play. He and one of the goals against the Blackhawks. And he's not just a power play merchant. I can't stand the empty net merchant comments. Like I did tell you on that last podcast, right, that he was going to ask not to go out on the ice.
You did.
And he did.
What did you? Can I ask? I mean, while we're here, what did you think of the decision not to be out there for the empty net?
100%. Like I told you
100%.
Like he regretted that he had to break past that he had to pass Howe with an empty net goal, because they played that in that documentary I was watching over the weekend where he passed it to Kuznetsov and Kuznetsov turned and passed it back to him.
Yeah.
And, like Ovechkin didn't want to take that shot.
No.
And Kuznetsov came on and said, yeah, well, if I hadn't passed it back, like 20,000 people would have been like asking for my head, because they all wanted to see him break the record. So and that's why the only way to avoid that situation and to do it fairly for your teammates is to not be on the ice.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, and I think that was 100% the right decision.
Yeah.
And and then he ended up almost scoring anyway once they put the goalie back in. So the fans almost got the best of both worlds. So
they did.
It was no, I mean that's 100% the right decision, and
absolutely.
I was so lucky, Greg, because I was at the goal at that game where he got 802 as well. I was home for Christmas, and it's just special to watch him break these milestones. And if he plays the rest of the year, which I'm not sure he'll play every game, he's got an outside shot at hitting 900 before this year's done. So
I mean he's got it. I mean if he keeps scoring at his current pace, which I mean is not going to happen, but it's I don't know. I mean I guess like the kind of to wrap here. I mean what now for Ovechkin? I mean, like, what do you think the hope is like for him to accomplish anymore? Like, I mean, obviously, they're going to, because to me, it's like, the interesting thing is, I mean, he's on a team that could be a cup contender, and he's out here making comments saying, he at least wants one more run at this, and so I don't know. It's what do you think there is left for Ovechkin to accomplish?
Well, I think he wants to. I mean, obviously, he wants to win another cup. He wants his team to go on a run. He loves the boys. Boys love him.
Yes.
He doesn't need it for his legacy or anything like that. I mean,
no.
18-7, but I mean, it'd be really nice if he could get to like 950 or like 940. Like, I'd like them to have a bit of a buffer for just in case just in case Matthews gets a little hot.
Sure.
I mean, who knows how the league's going to change in the next few years.
Sure.
I mean, look, the thing is, Ovechkin's longevity is also I mean,
that's the thing. I hear about Matthews, but I mean, he's already missed huge stretches of time. I mean, look, maybe he'll do it, and it would be cool, to see a guy go on a run with it. And obviously, Matthews is a very, very dynamic and interesting player. But I don't know. To me, it's just like the longevity and just how he's been able to evolve his game. There's no guarantee that Matthews is going to be able to do the same thing, and especially no guarantee he's going to have the same lack of injury history because he already has it. So to me, it's just that's going to be hard for him.
Well, so NHL Network had this stat on the bottom, and I might be misquoting it because I was like looking at it.
Yeah, he's ahead of Ovechkin on the
not that one. They had so in ages 30 to 39, Ovechkin doubled, I believe, Gretzky's goal per game output.
Yeah.
So like that is where Ovechkin set himself apart.
Yes.
That is where I think we'll see like the other guys fall off, and that's like what you're saying about Matthews. Like even if Matthews Matthews is a big guy too.
Sure.
Like, he's kind of built like Ovechkin. So
yeah.
But I'm curious to see how it shakes out. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the recent. Maple Leafs might have a good playoff run too. Supposedly, the last time both the Red Wings and the Bruins didn't make the playoffs is the year that the Maple Leafs won the Cup. So the hockey Illuminati are setting everything up for a Matthews playoff run.
There you go. No, I for what it's worth, I am actually a little down on the Leafs this year. I think I did a little bit of a dive into them recently, and their underlying numbers are like surprisingly pretty terrible. So we'll have to see. I think getting them out of the Atlantic is going to be tough, but we'll see. It's just. And again, it's like a testament to both kind of the longevity and evolution, and to the Caps organizational credit too, right? That they've given him really good supporting pieces for a long time. I mean, look, Ovechkin is, if the Caps make the playoffs next year, Ovechkin will have retired and only missed the playoffs 2 times in 20-something seasons. Like that is, say what you will about all the goals record and everything, but to me, that's also an incredible achievement,
Yeah, I mean, we were on last time. Didn't we make some comparisons to like the Red Wing run, like when the Red Wings, like it's kind of that same sustained excellence, and I think to say, not as much in recent years. Obviously, he is older, but Ovechkin carried that team for years.
He did.
Ovechkin was. I truly believe that he's the reason they made the playoffs in the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs. He was crap the first half of the year, right?
Yeah.
He had like 8 goals or something halfway through the season, and then he scored. He basically is on almost the same pace back half of last year that he's been on this season.
Yeah.
I don't know what changed. He went on that but he's been good. He's been good since. I think he's going to be more rested for the playoffs this time around. I think he was out of gas for the playoffs last year.
I think the whole team was out of gas. You had to make that push in the last few games. And this year they have the benefit of doing the opposite if they want to.
Well, if they want, Greg, they've basically been playing half-assed hockey for
I promised myself I was not going to ask about the Capitals this year just because I want this to kind of be a time capsule for Ovechkin. So, Adam, we'll have you on again before the playoffs, and we can get into the Capitals roster construction and where with Protis goes back, where to put all these different pieces. But we're gonna. I as the host, I am saying we are not doing this right now.
All right, Greg. All I will say is that if our listeners want to look for themselves, go look at save percentage by each Capitals goalie since they signed their new contracts.
Yeah, that's not great.
Then come back with what your thoughts are on.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. We're not worrying about it right now. This is time cap. We are spending 35 minutes, and I had an agenda full of only Ovechkin questions for a reason. So.
All right. You can edit it out if you want.
No, I will not. No, because that's too much effort and I'm sick. So that's not happening. But that's really professional podcasting, me saying I'm not going to edit. But no. But I don't know. Adam, I guess let's just end by, I don't know, what has Ovechkin meant to you as a fan? Because to me it's I can't almost think of a Capitals fandom without Ovechkin. A lot of I think has been defending Ovechkin against stupid criticism that we all had. But I don't know, there's just something to it that's just been such a joy. because I don't know, to me, it's like, I mean, Crosby's obviously also a very dominant player. And I guess, if you want to make the technical argument that he is the guy you'd rather build around than Ovechkin, fine. But I don't know, to me, it's just like a hockey fan and an enjoyer of watching hockey. I can't think of another player that I would be as happy to have on my team as Ovechkin. And obviously this sounds incredibly biased, but I don't know. It's just like I talk to other fans from other teams and they're always just, these days especially, like, man, you got to see a whole career of Alex Ovechkin. I'm jealous because I'm a whatever fan and like our superstar was there for like 4 or 5 years, right? And I don't know, there's just something to it, just how much Ovechkin's meant to DC as a city, how much he's meant to, like, I mean, we've seen Capitals fans just come out of the woodwork now, and it's really cool. And I think it really is just a testament to the brilliance and dominance of Alex Ovechkin.
So before I talk about what he meant to me, and I kind of hinted on for me personally, but, USA Hockey put out a tweet after he broke the record. I mean, and it was, I think, enrollment in youth hockey in the DC area is up.
Yeah.
It was more than 100%, I think, since Ovechkin joined the league.
Yes.
I mean, it's the impact that Rock the Red era, really the Ovechkin-led Capitals have had on the all caps, all that stuff. But I mean, to me, it all started like with the Rock the Red kind of era, as Greg Wyshynski's already had it, and it's to completely change the sporting landscape in DC. I mean, the Capitals got. I mean, it was also like a perfect storm, right? Like the Commanders, then Redskins were crap, right? Like they've been terrible for so many years. The Wizards were coming off of being kind of a relevant franchise for the first.
They had the big three for like 2 or 3 years or something, but but it wasn't. But even then, they get to the second round and they get swept. It wasn't like they were the title contender.
They lost to LeBron's Cavs like all the time, right? Exactly. And then the Nationals were largely bad for much of this run as well. I mean, the Capitals were like the good show in town, like, and they were. I mean, despite the fact that DC was labeled, and again, I'm still left in this Greg Wyshynski article, was the the home of misery, right? Like the most miserable sports town in the country because we couldn't win. I mean, the Capitals were still fun, and like they were really fun for it. Really, Ovechkin was fun because Ovechkin was more fun than hockey, and I think that's what people seem to like. Hockey players, they can be pretty boring. Like they're I mean, Ovechkin is just such a unique breed. I mean, he came in with the gold laces. He had the tinted visor. He had his cool
the chain,
Oh, he has the laces hanging out on his pants. He had the half tuck. And the NHL, like watched that documentary on Saturday before flying up. Ovechkin calling out Brodeur he literally called him like a crybaby because he bitched about the mirrored visor.
Yeah.
But Ovechkin was cool. Like, he was distinctive. You could see when Ovechkin got the ice, even if you couldn't see the number, because he looked different than everybody else.
Yes.
He was distinctive. He was iconic. He the way he played made it can't miss. I mean, I already talked about like the excitement, that feeling of awe, like every time he was on the ice, the anticipation to see something extraordinary. I mean, and that's Ovechkin. I mean, he. I went to game 2, I think, of the 1998 round against the Bruins, where the Capitals lost in like double or triple overtime. We went to a few regular season games after that. We went to when they lost to Tampa Bay in like 2003 and huge amount of overtimes. But I didn't become like a huge Capitals fan. Like I was a Capitals fan, but I didn't like, I think 06, 07, we probably went to about 25, 30 home games. And my dad and I used to we would just go to the arena, and sometimes I'd get there we'd get there late because we'd take the metro or something. And we would buy like luxury level seats for like $5 from scalpers. Yeah. I mean, and it was just watching, like in that time, we just became like a hockey family, like my dad and I, like that's like 90% of like, or like 80% of what we talk about probably is like is hockey and sports. And it's just like it's an amazing thing. Like just this what Ovechkin means to me is like he has like given me a huge source of joy, and I'm not gonna lie and say that it hasn't given me pain too over the years. Like
sure, of course. Well, it's like every parasocial relationship is gonna have some good and bad parts, right?
I used to joke that the Capitals were the most toxic relationship of my life. Like before they won the Stanley Cup, is that they? Yeah. I mean, because they just I mean, it just, like, but that's what it's meant to me. Like, it has meant that much to me. Like, I got people reaching out to me after, like, seeing I was at the game, like, that I probably hadn't talked to in years. Like, saying about, like,
I had the same thing. People texting me.
Like, it's like, and that's, Ovechkin made that possible. Like, he made, like, this podcast doesn't happen without Ovechkin. Like,
no, not in a million years.
We're not talking to, like, like,
no.
I mean, because again, like, I liked hockey. Mm-hmm. I didn't love hockey until I got to see a guy that that always that hooked me like that.
Yeah, That, it was like a visceral, like, wow, this is like something else, And I don't know, even for me lately. I mean, obviously I've been in Europe now for a while, and I'm a little bit like, what's my connection back home? And in a way, it's the Washington Capitals, and it's kind of why I restarted the podcast when I did. It's just because it's just, I don't know, it feels, one of the cool parts about Ovechkin and the Capitals for me is just like feeling like, I'm part of this thing that, regardless of where I am in the world or what I'm doing, that I get to sit down and either at 1 a.m. now or whatever, I get to watch that guy and that team play. And it's just, I don't know, there's just something like magnetic still about it. And it's something that still keeps me coming back to the Caps, even through the thick and thin. And I can't think of another player that would lead me to want to do that other than watching Alex Ovechkin even now. And I don't know, it's just, there's just something to it that it's hard to quantify, but it's, I don't know, it's just, like, why are we fans if not to get to watch really cool athletes do really cool things, right? And I don't know of anyone really cooler or really more remarkable than Alex Ovechkin.
No, I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, he is.
There you go.
He's
there
unique.
You go. All right. Well, Adam, this has been a blast. I said this was going to be 20 minutes, and we're triple that or double that or whatever. But I'm just going to mark this as a big capsule podcast about Ovechkin. So this was a lot of fun. Where can people find you and your various musings on things?
I am still on Twitter as Stringham A, and if you give me 2 seconds, I'll find my blue sky for.
I think it's just. Is it also just Adam Stringham, if I'm not mistaken?
I'm sure it's Stringham A. Yeah, it's at Stringham A. Blue sky or whatever .social. So you can find that there too.
All right, so just the same handle. All right.
Nailed that.
There you go. Good job. All right. Well, I did not nail it, but you did. All right. So on the first try, that's pretty good. All right. But if you like the show, you can rate, subscribe, review, all that jazz. This has been a really fun season, and we're hoping it's going to continue for quite a while here. You can follow me at GregY_JR. You can follow the show at Japers Rink Radio. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Greg Young. And Stringham, let's I know that we're now knee deep in the playoff run, so let's have you on again soon. So a disclaimer at the end of the show. I just want to clarify that I am not going to be taking money or any form of payment or remuneration for doing this show. There are obviously have been ads in this show, but it's important to clarify due to my visa situation and the fact that I would like to stay in Denmark for at least a little bit here, that I am taking no money nor any kind of remuneration for this show. So there you go.
For 25 years, Brightview Senior Living Associates have been committed to creating a vibrant culture and delivering exceptional services, making Brightview a great place to work and live. If you're looking for a rewarding opportunity to serve your local community and grow, we want you to join our team. Brightview Senior Living is growing and actively seeking vibrant associates to join our community teams, including directors, healthcare, activities, hospitality, and dining. Apply today at careers.brightviewseniorliving.com. Equal employment opportunities. Text BV Jobs to 97211 to apply.